Alright, I'll be getting started in just a minute or two here. Music so far is from Super Mario Kart, the original soundtrack. And today I'll be corrupting Dogz, your Virtual Petz Palz, which is... sounds nice. This one. Post Valley. This is one of the games that I pre-screened to see if it would corrupt alright. It's just a game I found in an old pack of Game Boy games. And it seems to corrupt alright so far, so it should produce some interesting stockpiles. This would make good, good Halloween music. Alright, we'll get started here. I'm gonna knock down the music a bit. And we got our usual layouts. Oh, thank you for the host. Thank you, Wasabi Tonic. And we got our usual layout of screens here. We got the real-time corruptor, which is this screen right here, up on top. And we got the glitch harvester down here on the bottom. And on the right, we have our emulator, which we will be running. Let me pull up the game here. There we go, Game Boy Color. If it'll run, did I pause it? Shoot. Yeah. There we go. So Dogz, your Virtual Petz Palz, which is not a typo if you thought it was. It actually says Petz Palz. And right on the title screen we got that goober. God, look at that guy. Alright. So I haven't played this before. Just did a little bit of pre-screening just to see if the corruptions would work for this particular title. It seems to be working alright off the bat. Can we do anything? We're gonna adopt a pet first. Alright, let's adopt a pet. At a pet store. And it looks like they gave us some names here. We don't get to see the dogs, I guess. Oh, we get to try them. Let's try Scrappy. That's how you pick up the dog. Is this petting? What am I doing with my hand? It looks like we're roughing the dog up. Is that come? It's come. Okay. Those are our commands. Pick up. That's so weird. Alright, how do I back out of this? Oh, what is all this? Oh, it's paint. It is paint. Okay. It looks like a bucket of blood. Is this water? What the world is happening? This isn't even the corruption yet. Dog food. Alright. I don't know what any of this is. This is a bone. I know what a bone is. Oh, you can make him chase the bone too. Okay. I don't know what some of this other stuff though. Is this twigs? Oh, it's a stick. Okay. I got that one. This one is dog cigarettes? No, dog treats. Okay. Got it. Windex in case you want to spray your dog. Oh my god, it really is. Oh, that's so sad. Why would I do this? What could my virtual dog be doing that I have to spray it? Jesus. Alright, well anyways, that's that one. This is spray paint, in case you want to paint your dog a different color. Is that really? This is flea. Alright, enough of that. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Flea repellent? Is this a hairbrush? Okay. Complete Y, yeah, amen to that. I really like the this spray bottle, just in case. You really wanna instill the horror in his eyes. Oh god. Dog food, water, paint background. Oh. Alright, we're not gonna adopt this one. Let's see, chip. Oh, I like chip. Alright, what's the other one? This pet is not an adopted. That's kind of sad to see. And Chai, nope. Look at that chihuahua. Oh, looks like a rat. Oh, it sounds the same. Where's my holy water? We haven't even started the corruption yet. You know, wow, I would like to adopt the other one. What was the other guy's name? Did I freeze the emulation? I hit pause. Shoot. Now what did I hit? There's a button I keep hitting that stops the speed of the game. No. I freeze it. Here, reboot core. Nope. Shoot. Oh, I did pause it. Oh, silly. Alright. So, pet store. Well, I would like to get Chip, because Chip is obviously the best choice of all three dogs. I mean, come on, it's Chip. We're going to go with Chai because we're going to be corrupting, and I think this dog deserves it. Oh, he said, oh, he gets to rename it. Here. Let's go back. Oh, shoot. Chai, dot, and backspace. Alright. Segrudo. That, if you haven't known, is the best Chihuahua name. Segrudo. We get to select a color. Oh, we get to paint it. We actually get to paint the dog? This feels just wrong. Well, we all know the worst color is red, so we'll do a red dog. Where's red? There we go. There we go. A red Chihuahua. I promise to give my pets love and affection. I promise to feed and play with my pets. I promise to pet my pets and award good behavior with treats. I understand that if neglected or abused, my pets will run away. The entire emulation freezes when it pals, which is very often. What, do you want food? Why are you whining so much? Food. Eat. Okay. Alright, we're gonna do a save state here. Can I delete this? Stop playing with it. You don't get this. Go away. No, stop. Why is it still working? What do I do with it? Do you want this? With this bottle? I don't know what this is. Yes, let's change background. That one looks fun. This is dirt. Stop playing with everything I put on the... No. Okay. We're gonna start corrupting. So I have to select something. Let's do this. Okay, nothing on screen. I'm gonna mess around with the memory of domains to see if we get any immediate corruptions, if there are any obvious corruptions, and hopefully it will stop howling. So we're gonna go up to here to the real-time corruptor just for some prototyping, just to see if we can notice any anything that becomes immediately apparent when we're corrupting these memory domains to produce an interesting result. So we have, first off, just WRAM selected. And we'll corrupt that with a specified amount of intensity. We'll just do 200 intensity. And we're just going to do manual blast to see if anything within the game happens based on these corruptions. So immediately we have broken the dog. It will not stop digging. Yep, it will just non-stop dig. Or is he doing that on purpose? Wait. That might have been on purpose. Oh, this time we broke it though. Okay, let's load. Gonna keep corrupting. I broke my hand in this case. Dog dead. This background's getting a little hard to look at. Let me switch it back to a more lookable color. Now I know where all the memory for this game went to all these backgrounds they made. Alright, that's good. Another save state. Now we'll continue blasting this memory. This is still the dog. Is it still alive? We can move around, but we can't actually click on him. Alright, we're gonna mess with some more stuff here. We're gonna change the blast type from random bits of data being replaced with random bits of data to random bits of data being incremented or decremented. So we'll give that a go and load our save state. And we're just manually corrupting, seeing if we notice anything. Okay, dogs. I don't know the normal state of the dog, so I'm not sure if what he's doing is normal. No, that's not normal. Let's go back. I like to think some of his interaction isn't normal, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, now he's just a tail. Okay, so some interesting stuff here and there with WRAM, mostly visual corruptions. We'll move on to visual RAM, which anytime we mess with visual RAM, it's just being messed with the stuff that's actually being displayed to the screen. So everything on the screen right now. Okay, I highly regret picking a Chihuahua at this point. It will not stop. How do I spray it when it's acting bad? You bark one more time. Okay, it's acting good now. Almost any game could be... Oh, there we go. Hopefully I'll get to stop. Almost any game can be corrupted with visual RAM because every game has visual RAM. It's everything that's being displayed to the screen, and it's usually a common memory pool that you can mess with. However, the corruptions that we... It is so sad, it won't stop. I don't know what it wants. Should I give it... Let's give it more food. No, it doesn't want more food. Let's give it water. Maybe it wants water. I have to keep my corrupted pet happy. Yeah, maybe you can corrupt it to a point where it doesn't whine anymore. Anyway, so we can always mess with the VRAM. Essentially, it's just going to give you broken looking stuff like this. But as soon as you leave the screen, maybe, yeah, as soon as you even pause the game, the screen goes back to normal. Oh, there's some stuff we can... I could trade pets? I don't want to trade pets. Energy, affection, health. That's kind of neat. Oh, I have to groom it. Come here. Nope. Nope. Groomed. Grooming. That only did a tiny percent. I used to do that, what, for like 5 minutes? Jesus. Alright, save state. And again, we can keep messing with the video RAM, but it doesn't produce too many interesting results. It just kind of looks like clown vomit in the end. I will usually apply some video RAM effects after corruption is finished, after I have a more mechanical or game-altering corruption. Then you'll apply some visual effects just to complete the package, so to speak. So we'll move on. Next we'll mess with cart RAM, which is the cartridge RAM. Let's see if that has any effect. Oh, actually, you know what it affected? There's no sound anymore. You know what we did? We actually got rid of the whining. Well, it's actually sleeping now, but can I wake it up from sleep? Yeah, you can just keep waking him up. That's just cool. Oh, there's the sound. Shoot. That's disappointing. Okay. So, not too many corruptions with cart RAM that I'm seeing so far. Let me try switching the blast type to tilt. And sometimes these memory pools don't have data that's immediately apparently affecting anything that immediately affects anything within the game, or it's affecting things that you really can't see or aren't that apparent, which is perfectly normal. Next we'll try to mess with OAM, which is the object files in the game, and we can see that has an interesting result on the sprites. Actually, all sprites on screen, so including my hand, the brush, and the dog itself. However, if we're going to be creating stockpiles, we need a permanent corruption, and you notice as soon as we stop auto-corrupting the game, everything returns back to normal. So what we need to do is, instead of manually blasting it once, only to see the little blip of a corruption, is we need a more permanent solution. In order to create a more permanent solution, we need to switch our engine types. So we're using the Nightmare engine currently just to send random bits of data, but as soon as those bits of data update, so as soon as the sprite moves or as soon as the screen is redrawn, that information that we corrupted is written over. Instead, we can use the Helgini engine, which creates a permanent value using a cheat engine and keeps that value for as long as a specified amount of time. So we're going to change our intensity down to 50. And we're going to try some manual blasts to our glitch harvester now, so down here, to see if we can get any interesting results with corrupting the dog or the hand or anything like that. Oh, and I do need to extract my game. I actually forgot about that. So, give me just a moment here while I set everything up. The glitch harvester doesn't like when you have a game inside a zip file, whereas RTC doesn't have a problem with it. So, keep that in mind if you ever try corrupting. I also have Nukem. What do you know? I didn't know that was something in one color. Dogz. There we are. And real quick, I have to close down the real-time corruptor. Just a moment here, I'll put up intermission while I'm pulling this up. I probably should have some music too, but I didn't think of queuing some up. So you could just listen to the sound of silence. I need to rename these windows. There we go. Okay, well, just extracting things. Taking a moment, sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Oh, we have to re-get our dog, don't we? Shoot. You know, just so he whines a little less, let's get Chip. He doesn't whine so often. Oh, just name Chip. There we go. Good Chip. Let's create a save state. Oh, I had a save state. Gotta love that. That's fine though. We were messing with OEM, which are the object files for the sprites. So I'm just gonna select that memory domain. I'm going to switch the engine to the Houdini engine. We're going to bring the intensity up to 50, since we can only do as much intensity as there are a maximum amount of allowed cheats. And we don't want too many cheats, otherwise the corruption will run a bit slower, since every single iteration step, it's needing to write back the backed up data, which can be a lot if you have a lot of bits that are selected, or bytes in this case. We're going to create a save state with we're going to create a save state within the glitch harvester by selecting slot 1 here, hitting save, and now we'll create a save state here. You can see this little box appeared, and we can name that save state something like it only needs to be a short name, Chip. We'll just name it Chip, because that is our selected dog. Great, and everything looks good to go. Let's see if we can mess with the object files with each corruption. So we do see a mess. We might want to knock the intensity down a little bit just so we don't get as many intense corruptions, because there aren't a lot of sprites visually on screen, so even a low value of 50 intensity might create a large corruption like this, where Chip is an abomination. Letters. And the hand is missing all fingers. Oh, is that its... Wait, did I see its tail wagging? Wait. Look at its foot on the left. Alright. Let me lower the intensity. We're going to bring intensity down to 20. And we'll blast some more data. You know, we just need a tiny bit of corruption. Let's do just one. I just want to see just one. Yeah, that's good, because that's only like one little tiny thing that gets broken. Which in this case is part of Spot's missing. Part of Chip is missing, I should say. Here we don't have anything missing on Chip. We can bring the intensity up just a tiny bit. We'll bring it up to 3. That's not a bad one. Chip is missing his face. Oh, he went off screen. Wait, can he come back? Oh, okay. This is one spasmic dog. Let's bring the intensity just a huge amount. Let's do it to 100, and we need to enable 100 max cheats. Yeah, that's a pile of stuff. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, what is it doing? No. Let us try messing with HRAM now, just to see what the results of corrupting the hardware RAM is. So we will need to load our clean save state, which we're going to do up here in Glitch Harvester. Everything's back to normal. We might need to clear all of our cheats, which we'll need to do. And we'll select the HRAM memory pool. And we'll switch the engine back to the Nightmare engine because we just want to mess with those bits of data randomly. We don't want to keep those values changed necessarily, in which case we would use the Genie engine. Which we want to see if there's any immediate results from corrupting the hardware. And we do get a crash right off the back. Right off the bat, I should say. One interesting one there. Nice visual corruption. And you might not be... Oh, that was actually a good one. You might not be seeing a lot of corruptions here, but I'm keeping an eye on Chip breathing. And if he stops breathing, that means... Ooh, that was a neat one. If he stops breathing, that means it crashed. So actually, we're getting some interesting results with the hardware corruptor. So let's go ahead and move up to the glitch harvester because we want to save these corruptions if we get an interesting one. So we'll start blasting that with some random data. And you notice Chip stopped breathing, so that means the game crashed. So we'll keep doing it. And every time we hit blast send, it sends another save state to be created. And another corruption to be applied. Okay, well... Not good enough to throw on stockpile. We might not even have any for this stockpile. Since nothing's really changing the functionality of the game, which I didn't truly expect. This is more for just the real-time corruptions in this case. That's not a bad one. We can do this as just a visual bug. Let me go ahead and do another save state. And do intensity of 1. So I can save this in the stats history. And we'll just name this, visual bug. And we'll call this a red trade. And there's really nothing interesting about this one other than just the visuals. So, and again, nothing mechanic-wise is actually too interesting. I'm also re-rolling the same corruption again and again to double check if we can get interesting results from it. And it doesn't look like we are. So we will call this one good, and we'll start with another fresh. That's a good one. It's too bad it crashes fairly often. Ooh, that was actually a full crash. But luckily, everything gets saved, so no worries there. reload that ROM here. And we have the save state still, so we can just load the save state. This one was an interesting visual bug again. We can save this. Oh no, that forces a crash every time. Alright, so we won't save that one. We won't even touch that one. We'll load the save state again. Clear version history and begin corrupting again. We're getting a lot of that cartridge error where it tries to read memory, doesn't understand the instructions it's reading, or it has a go-to jump that just forces it into that idea that it's not actually reading in a Game Boy cartridge, which could be a failsafe, could be like a try-catch sort of error, where if it runs into an error, just assume it's not a Game Boy Color console. That could be what we're seeing here a lot. From Bissock crashing, we do have all memory pools being selected, so we are seeing quite a variety of corruptions here. See if anything is producing an interesting result. I think from this game, at least, we're going to mostly just get visual corruptions. There's not a lot of functionalities to the game. We have the menu interface, which, let's see if we don't crash here so I can pull that up. Well, we have the various tools that we can use to interact with the dog, like the food and the water and the brush, but none of those, have anything outside of just sprite movements and maybe a little bit of functionality in the game, but not a ton. So we won't be able to mess with that, so anything we mess with is just really visual. And there's no music, so there's no musical corruptions, unfortunately. Maybe a bit of sound here and there, but nothing that's going to be too noticeable. Oh, that last one was a little interesting. Let me look at that. Yeah, I mean, not amazing, but we can throw it in the stockpile. I'll just call it like 2-chip. And we can try re-rolling that corruption to see if we can get anything new from it. Mostly the same. Yeah, so we'll try some new corruptions. We'll clear the history and blast more data. We're going to try some higher valued intensity corruptions. So we're going to bring this up to 500 there. See if we get anything more interesting. And hopefully it doesn't crash as often, though it might. Bring the intensity back down. Let's try Helgini engine. Oh, if only that spelled something out, that'd be amazing, but nothing there. Okay, that's not a bad one. I actually like that. We'll call this chip trips. That is a good one. And what we're going to do with this one, and let me actually pull this up on screen. We actually don't have a window for this yet. But you see how there's a couple things going on here. There's a couple visual bugs which I might not want. Like Chip is still partly, kind of cut out, his sprite is, so I might want to not mess with that. But I do want the visual bugs. So what we're going to do is we're going to open something called the Blast Editor, and we're going to sanitize the corruption. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Just gotta rename a couple windows here in OBS. Give me just a sec. Also, if you have epilepsy, don't be staring at this dog. This must be awful. I just realized that. Alright, and let me resize this in OBS. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reducing the corruption down to just its bare components, where essentially we want the strippy effect to stay. So we're going to try to see, by randomly disabling half of the corruptions that we applied, does that remove the functionality we want? Remove the functionality we want. If it does, we remove the other half. If it doesn't, you know, we're just trying to just keep the one effect we like. Okay, so essentially, that's exactly what I did here. I didn't speak while I was doing it, though, because I wasn't sure if I was doing it right. But, here. I have to explain why I'm doing it, which is a little tricky. But, chip looks a little more whole, and the corruption still lasts. So we're going to remove everything that we disabled. We're going to randomly disable half of the values, and we're going to load the corruption. Since we're still seeing chip blinking, the arrow blinking, the corruption still looks normal. That's a good sign. We're going to remove the half that we just disabled, which is we're just reducing the corruption down to those bare components. We're going to do it again just a couple times, just until we get just the bare minimum. We'll load the corruption. Here we notice the effect that we wanted is gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to invert the disabled. We're going to select all of the other half of that 50% and make sure that this does have the desired effect. It does. So we're now going to remove the disabled ones. And now we only have a couple memory addresses here that we're actually messing with us. And this is almost exactly how we want it. However, we can still try removing 50%. At a certain point here, we may just individually remove the corruptions that we're applying. But we'll try this to see. Alright, again, we want to invert disabled. Load corruption. Perfect. We'll remove disabled. Yeah, we're really going down now. And I'm hoping we might even get to the point where we're not even crashing the game anymore. Currently, we still are crashing the game, so I'm still not able to, say, operate the hand in the game. I'm not able to touch chip or anything like that. We'll see if we can ever get to a point where we're able to still control stuff. But we do see that Chip is returned entirely to his normal form. There's no cutouts. He looks normal, which is perfect. And now we're down to just these last three. Applied corruptions is what I would call this. Since this still works, we only have 2. And this last one, we're going to invert and load corruption. And perfect. We have narrowed this entire corruption down to just one blast of data, one random value sent to the game, which was Aldini corruption at source address 13 with the parameter E19. What does that mean? I don't know. It works though. Unfortunately, it does still crash the game. We're still not able to move the mouse around at all, but I think it looks nice, and we're not going to crash in any other way, and we just have that bare minimum corruption. And this is what I'm going to try to move forward doing, is sanitizing the corruptions so that when you guys receive them, they look a lot nicer. They won't crash as often if they're not meant to. And yeah, they're a bit smaller. So we're not going to send this to the stash, which I believe is the one right here, correct? Yes. So I'm going to close down the blast layer for now. I guess I can keep that in OBS for later usage. And now we have two versions of chip trips, I believe. One that doesn't work so well. This is the one we started with, which looks awful. We don't really know what's going on. Doesn't look good. But we have this newly created one that's right over here, which is our fantastic, nice, clean version. So what we're going to do is we're going to take chip trips. We're going to remove that item from our stockpile. And we're going to move this new one over and call it chip trips. And this is our first sanitized corruption that just looks great. Alright, we're going to move on, blast some more data. Oh, actually, what I would like to do as well is while we have chip trips selected, I'd like to re-roll it to see. Oh, did I do that incorrectly? Yeah, to see if we get anything new from this corruption. So essentially, we're just re-rolling the value that's sent to this memory address. And we're not seeing anything new, which is alright. The last one we did, but it's the same effect as before. Maybe a little bit faster, but we're not worried about it. Alright, time to blast more data. Oh, actually, on the last one, we got more items unlocked. Yeah, we have all the items unlocked there, actually. Huh. Ooh. Hitting the X button breaks the game a little bit, but A fixes the game. Okay, well, that's an interesting corruption. We'll throw this in. Again, we will sanitize this corruption, and hopefully the sanitization of corruptions is a little interesting. It doesn't look very interesting, but at least we can do it faster as we go along. I don't have to explain as much. Here we'll call this hit X for phaser. And even though we threw it on the stockpile, we could have just started the blast editor right away, but we decided not to because we wanted to name it first, but that's alright. Open the selected in the blast editor. I have to reselect that within OBS. Blast editor, there we go. Eventually I'll make this look a little bit easier. At the moment it's not super easy to control, but I'm working off a laptop, so give me a break. So right now, we're just going to load the corruption as is with all these random... Oh, unless it's loaded. Oh, it's paused. Load the corruption as is with all the corruptions applied. And still, if we hit X, it does this weird flash. If we hit A... Oh, it also does a weird flash. Okay, neat. So we're going to see if we can just break this down. I'd like to keep chip and frame, although I'd like them to be pure if I can. And of course I want to preserve that hitting X doing this weird function thing, if possible. So we're going to give that a go. Again, we're going to just keep removing 50% of the corruptions to see that our desired result is kept. Okay, great. In this case it does for both, so we will remove disabled and keep moving along. Okay, there unfortunately both, well, we aren't where we want to, so we're going to invert disabled and load and corrupt. Actually, in both cases we aren't where we want to be, so what we're going to do is we're going to randomly disable another 50% to see if this is any better. That's not, so we're going to invert. Okay, in that case actually the value we would like. So we're going to remove disabled and keep moving forward. That removes what we want, so we're going to invert. And this is actually great. So we now have chip nearly at perfect form, and we still have the functionality we want, which is great. Remove disabled. And we're down to a pretty small corruption, which is good. We're probably gonna have 2 or 3 lines that we're gonna keep at the end here. Good, that's what we want. That's not what we want. Now here's something interesting. I would like to keep chip in frame, and here we would actually be removing him. So while we're removing 3 corruptions here, I'm going to double check which one actually gets rid of chip, which is that last one I just selected actually. So his ears are gone now. Let me see if we can bring his ears back with one of these other ones. Yep, looks like these 2 don't have an effect on that. And let's see what the rest of these things do. So no matter what, we need this one. This one is very important, because this is the one that creates that sort of a phaser effect. Okay, I think we've narrowed it down to 2, it looks like. And with these 2 selected, we have chip on screen and the phaser effect. Yeah, alright, I'm happy with that. I believe apply corruption applies that to... It doesn't send it to the stash like we had done before. It now applies it to the one that we had selected, which is the correct functionality that we're looking for. Let me double check. I select this one in the stockpile. Okay, so that's not correct. Which one did I apply that to? Shoot. Alright. In the future, send to stockpile is what we're going to do. Okay, I have to redo all that, but I'm going to just quickly do it behind the scenes. I did that real fast. Okay, cool. Sorry about doing all that again, but I'm just doing it real quick. I guess apply corruption was not the right one, so we need to send to stash, which will just create a new save state that we can now send to our stockpile manager. We'll call it again. Oh, I need to remove the previous name first, so we're going to move this item, which is our messed up chip. And we're going to apply this new one right here, called hit X for phaser. Great. Oh, as long as it doesn't crash it. Did it crash it? Looks like it did. Unless I paused it. Oh, I paused it. There we go. Great. We have 3 corruptions down, 2 of which are fantastic. These 2 are not so fantastic. That's alright. Sometimes they don't need to be. We'll keep blasting with data. Oh, almost made a song. Almost. It's another interesting visual effect. I won't throw it on the stockpile, but it looks neat. Not the intention of the cartridge creator, but it still looks nice. Alright, let's try upping our intensity. Right now it's at 200, but we only have max heats capped at 100, so it's only actually applying a maximum intensity of 100. Or bring this up to 200. Which will probably lead to more often crashes, but hopefully some more interesting results. Also, I don't know how many times this stream I've said more interesting results. Probably too many. You know, well, let's have some music along with this, because this is just dry sounding. Find some soundtrack in the background. That's a good background sound here. I'd like to do the Nintendo Dogz soundtrack, but unfortunately, there's no very long YouTube video that I can use. There's only playlists, which I don't really like playlists because then there's that jarring in between while it tries to load the next one. Let's not do that. Another dog game. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank. We'll just do anything. There we go, and we'll do that real quiet. Loud. Okay, great, and we'll keep corrupting here. So we got the same effect here as before. I don't have to run the stockpile, but cool to see it again. Very nice. You know, we can make this look pretty, and I think I'd like to. Because it's a nice blue background, and if we can just have chip laying there, I think it will look nice. So let's do... Why don't we throw this into the blast editor and just try to make it look nicer. Oh, I just realized you won't actually see... Oh, whoops, I was doing that wrong. You don't actually get to see the window, which is unfortunate. Here, let's do this. Yeah. Oh, well, it should be on top of that because we're probably going off of the glitch harvester. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and we're trying to make the corruption look nicer. That's funny, half these corruptions actually don't do anything to the game, which isn't nice, but these ones certainly do, and it does crash it. Ooh, what do we do there? I don't know what we did. I like it though. Can I go back to that? Yeah, okay, so it just does it over time. Okay. I like that. Let's keep definitely that effect. Alright, we got 3 corruptions. Can we do it with less? Is the question. We need this last one no matter what. That one does the visual effects. I want to make sure, yeah, that this purple still loads each time. Let's try moving this one too. Okay, so it's just literally that one corruption. So we will remove these disabled ones, and we just have the Hell Genie blasting to source domain 8 RAM for a source address 8 perimeter value EA, and that creates this lovely masterpiece. I love it. We will save this one by sending it to stash, and we'll call it. Oh, I gotta learn how to spell this way. Chipiasco, as in Chip Piasco. Picasso. Chipia. See, now I'm having trouble pronouncing it myself. That's right. And we'll keep corrupting here. Alright, epilepsy warning for anyone who has epilepsy. So this is different than chip trips. This is the entirety of the stage is now flashing. And we are definitely going to throw this in the blast editor. And we're going to quickly move through this. Oh man, just getting faster and faster. I am so sorry for anyone who has to watch this. Okay. Let me pause that emulation so people can stop losing it to that. Jesus. Alright, so previously we called it chip trips. This one is... Ooh, what do we call this one? This one really is chip trips. But... Oh, clever name, clever name. Chip really trips, why not? We don't need to get too complicated with the names. No, that's not good. Chip loses his mind. How about that? Chip finds acid. It's That's fine. Also, press X for phaser. I'm gonna make a note on press X for phaser, just saying press either the X or A keys to trigger a sound, just so the user knows when they read that what to do. Alright, I think we're good. I'm also gonna do... I need a way to signify whether it's a flashing sort of problem, because I would like people to open the stockpile without having to worry about if there's a flashing animation, if they have to worry about it or not. Maybe I should do a tag like EP or something. Maybe I'll put in the notes. I feel like people would they open the note first or would they open the corruption first? That is the question. Put in the notes. I hope that's alright. I'll do the same with chip trips. Okay, great. We'll send some more data. Hope I haven't paused. A very interesting bug. It almost looks like a face there. Recolored carpet. You know, I like this one. There's something about blue. I just really like blue. But this has a nice look to it. Let's fix this one up. So open this in the blast editor. I'll reset the screen so it looks proper. It's the blast editor. I'll start removing the bad parts of this corruption, which is not that far. And you know, one of these has chip in it. I'd like to keep chip in the picture if we can, so we're gonna actually randomly disable another 50% to see if we can keep chip, which we can in this case, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. So we're gonna move disabled. Funnily enough, we have a working chip. Here, let's see. Let's do. Yeah, that's fine. We'll put all that good. Okay, there we go. You have the corruption down to just one value again, which is fantastic. We'll send this to the stash. We will select that one. We will name that stash. We'll call it with a visual tag. Chip lies chip. What does that look like? It kind of looks like flax. Is flax blue or is it white? I think it's white. I'll look up. Oh, yeah, it's blue. Look at that. Chip lies on flax field. Quite good. I'm not going to call this a visual bug, I'm just going to call this a visual. Because it looks better in terms of tag. Okay, good. Good. We're actually getting a lot more corruption out of this than I thought, so I'm very happy with the results so far on this. And a big part of that is actually the sanitation corruptions, because before, some of these I would have just disregarded, thrown them out the window, they're not important, but sanitizing them, getting them just down to the bare components, makes them look a lot more appealing at the end. It's an interesting one, but it doesn't last very long. I like that to last longer. Oh man. Yeah, we'll do this one too. Man, that's a lot of sort of these trippy flashing ones. We'll throw this in the blast editor. I swear, last one, if you were still sticking around, if you're soldiering through and you have epilepsy, I'm so sorry. Turn on blast editor. Remove 50%. Let encrypt. Doesn't work. We'll invert. Let encrypt. Oh, I have the emulation pause, that's why. Invert again. You know, that's not what we want, so we're gonna... That's what we want. So what's interesting here is I wanted actually to break the game because there's a corruption here that's actually breaking the game. So you need that to run as well as the visual corruption. Which could be maybe tricky because this is also happening. We also need to break the game, so let's see if we can do that. Which means we're going to need to get picky with which corruptions we remove. I forgot this game even had music. You know, I don't think we're going to have that much luck because, yeah, I keep getting closer. Oh, do we make the entire game? Oh, look at that. Does it actually run? No, it's stuck there. But, you know what? I'm happy with that. We're just going to leave it like this. I don't want to mess with it anymore. We'll send that to stash. And we'll call this... trippy title screen. And we'll call it asset title screen. Epilepsy warning. Got plenty of those already. And we'll stop that. And now I promise if I see any more of those flashing effects, we will not throw them into the stockpile. 3 is more than enough. That looks like a fish. What happened there? Yeah, I know. I have, yeah. I'll be sure to also put it in the comments, but I made a lot of, I put warnings on each one that has the warning, the epilepsy problem. Yeah, I need to figure out a way to better advertise that, because 3 of these corruptions already have that, and I should also put tags on all of them. But yeah, thank you for the heads up. I'll be sure to keep that in mind. When I upload the stockpile to YouTube, I'll be sure to note it there as well. Kind of interesting effect though. You still watching Wasabi? Yeah, so check this out. Chip trips. So just individually the dog and the arrow. I have no clue why this is Like, it's just one little bit of data that I corrupted that creates the cycle loop. So there's something in the game that was supposed to have this effect, and it's just applying that effect to anything that has this color value, I'm assuming, or something like that. There's also chip finds acid, in which case the entire room does it. And in this one, it's supposed to be the title screen. Yeah, it's just the title screen. So 3 different places have that. I'm not exactly sure how that works. More of a scratch in the head for me. I like the color here. I would almost want to clean this up and just make this appear. But I'm not going to. We're not going to. It's getting late, so I don't want to do that yet. I want to find some good ones. Yeah, it is neat. Oh, I forgot to hide this window. Wasabi, if you haven't been catching up, what I've been doing lately is I've also been sanitizing my corruptions, which is probably something I've been supposed to have been doing all along, but I haven't been because I've been being a little lazy about it. Where I'm essentially removing part of the corruption that I don't find necessary and that might crash the game, and only keeping the bare minimum. Ooh, look at that little corruption. Anyway, it's just the bare minimum corruption. So we just get the desired result and none of that useless stuff on the side that crashes the game. We're going to try increase the intensity some more. We'll bring this up to 300 cheats. Actually, the last one had a nice look to it. Purple wood floor. Yeah, I keep wanting to take these visual effects, but they're not too amazing, so I want to take that one, but I'm not going to. Another chippy trip. The last one had an interesting color to it. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Chip is like yellow. Move on though. I'm gonna try switching engines. We've been using the Hell Genie engine. We're gonna switch over to the distortion engine now. We might not get too many results of this. Immediately we're not actually seeing anything. We try increasing the distortion delay or decreasing it. Also, the intensity is going to go up. We'll try lowering the distortion delay. And something I actually did not try with the Hell Genie was different blast radiuses, which I'm going to switch back to and give it a try. We'll keep all the same parameters as before though, but now we're using chunk memory, which decides upon the memory domains in a little bit of a different fashion. Oh, that last one was a good one. Let's check that out. Just camera shift. Oh, this is fully working. Okay, I kinda like this. Polygonal dog. Alright, yeah, let's clean this one up. There we go, got the blast editor open, and we'll start cleaning up this corruption a bit. I don't want the green to change to gray, just because that looks not like a dog anymore, really. Unfortunately, I might need to, though. Let's see. Ah, there we can keep it. Alright. Well, we might need to leave this one as it is. Let's see. We can leave it like this, I think. We can only clean it up so much. Especially when there's a couple corruptions going on with that display. So, we'll call this one good. Polygonal chip. And we'll try from chunk blast radius to burst. Oh, that was a good one. Your toys have been shared successfully. Out of context, this isn't interesting, but it is interesting that we had this happen live. So still funny, but we'll keep blasting data. And we're switching to the pipe engine. And since I'm nearly falling asleep in my chair, we're actually going to call it there for stockpiles for today. I'm going to pause the animation here and pull up intermission. And hide the bus editor. And I'll be sure to save the stockpile to make sure we don't lose it. This one was Dogz. Virtual Petz stockpile. Okay. And we'll leave, we'll leave Shantae and the Pirate's Curse running in the background. Bit of a late stream for me tonight. I'm finishing up pretty late. But thank you for anyone to stop by. I'll go and post this probably tomorrow. It'll be on the YouTube channel, just in the description. You'll be able to follow the Google Drive link. As long as you're running real-time corruptor, you'll be able to play this yourself. I'll be sure to note that there's a couple epilepsy warnings within this corruption pack, I think 3 of them. But yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by, and have a good night.
But the forest is yet to be traversed. All we know is we need to go south. We've got 5 lives.
In order to get the next bonus power, you need 160 more happy points. I'll take the save. It took a while to talk to Captain Plankbeard. We're going to see the aliens.